Fuggler stands for Funny Ugly Monster. But why is Fuggler? Where is Fuggler? How is Fuggler? Today, I will answer all these questions and more. If you're interested, join me as we dive deep into the buttonhole of Fuggler's origins, the good, the bad, the Fugglery, and what is Fuggler up to right now. Louise McGetrick was not a toy maker. She originally studied drama and stand-up comedy, with dreams of becoming a writer. She achieved this dream and is currently still a children's book author. However, her career as a toy maker began simply from a hobby. In 2010, she had the very relatable experience of finding random stuff on eBay, which included a bag of fake teeth. In her shock and confusion, she envisioned the story of someone putting fake teeth onto teddy bears and selling them to horrified customers. And she found the idea so funny that she bought the teeth to try and make that abomination come true. These are some of the first Fugglers Louise ever made. They are quite different from the Fugglers of today, as she originally made these just for her own amusement with little sewing experience or materials. She thought it would be funny to list them for sale on Etsy for people to stumble upon. Unexpectedly, lots of people actually loved them and wanted to have their own Fuggler. As more people bought her Fugglers, she created more to sell. The Fuggler business grew, and in 2012, Louise quit her job to become a full-time Fuggler business owner. Over time, she honed her craft as she responded to feedback from people online, experimented, and even made custom orders. Certain unique details in their designs, such as button buttholes and Fuggler brand packaging, would become iconic integral parts of the Fugglers. The most iconic of these features, of course, was their realistic teeth, which Louise shared that she would always add last to see the Fuggler instantly come to life. After 7 years of selling handmade Fugglers online from her home in England, Louise felt that the business had outgrown her. She was becoming overwhelmed from running a one-woman business that kept getting more and more attention and orders, and she received an offer from an agent at the perfect time. In 2018, she sold the business so Fugglers could continue to grow and she could watch her creation bloom from afar while she focused on raising her newborn daughter. After acquiring the rights to Fugglers, Canadian company Spin Master wasted little time before the first fully commercially mass-produced Fugglers came into existence. Spin Master began with 50 different Fuggler doll designs, which were available worldwide at stores like Target, GameStop, and Hot Topic. This number would grow over time, and aside from the iconic dolls, Spin Master also created a plethora of brand new Fuggler-inspired collectible products, including vinyl figures, hats, slippers, and puzzles. In just 2 years, Fugglers had gone from a small online handmade business to an official mass-produced line of toys and merchandise available at in-person stores. However, behind their growing success were some bumps along the way and an unexpected downfall to come. As the Fuggler brand grew with the help of Spin Master's marketing, somewhat of a rivalry was beginning to form between the Fugglers and another popular line of cute but ugly toys. Ugly Doll Toys was created 9 years before the first Fugglers came to be, in 2001. Fugglers and Ugly Dolls share some surprising similarities in how they were created. Sunmin Kim sewed the first Ugly Doll as a gift to her husband, David Horvath, based on a character he had drawn. David then showed off the doll to a friend who owned a retail store. David's friend mistook this as David pitching a new product to him for his store and actually tried to order more from him. This fortunate mistake led to the creation of the first official line of Ugly Doll toys, and kind of mirrors Louise's experience of happening upon the bag of teeth and getting the inspiration to create something just for fun. Even though each toy line had their own unique features and reasons that made them appealing, comparisons grew around this time because an animated film adaptation of The Ugly Dolls was released in 2019, just 1 year after Spin Master had debuted their Fuggler toy line. Now, Illumination had actually acquired the rights to Ugly Dolls back in 2011, but the film ended up being created by STX Entertainment after Hasbro acquired the Ugly Dolls licensing rights in 2018. Due to the timing of the film's release date, this may have put pressure on Spin Master for Fugglers to perform even better, which sadly was not happening. By Spin Master's fourth quarter of 2019, Fugglers were underperforming, and all those new Fuggler-inspired products Spin Master had rushed to create were on their way to liquidation stores, and many Fuggler dolls were being sold through a blind box system at stores like Best Buy, Hot Topic, Barnes & Noble. The blind box system backfired even more, which is a bit surprising considering the global popularity of blind boxes currently, but customers often were seeking out specific Fuggler designs, and scalpers would take advantage of this by reselling Fugglers online at increasingly higher prices. After this rapid rise and fall of the Fugglers, it was announced in January 2020 that Spin Master would be temporarily discontinuing Fugglers. The explanation given was a reference to the recent COVID-19 outbreak, stating that the Fugglers were scared by the current state of the world and were going into hiding. Considering the recent decrease in Fuggler sales and a lack in affordable Fugglers online, a worldwide pandemic was probably not going to help the state of the franchise, and although the Fugglers would be missed, it seems like they made the best decision at the time. After 3 years of hiding, Fugglers announced their return in 2023. Well, kind of. During their break, British toy company Addo Play had become an owner of Fuggler licensing rights in 2021, but the Fugglers remained in hiding for 2 more years. In 2023, Libertas Brands was founded in the UK and secured global rights to the Fugglers from Spin Master. They teamed up with Addo Play, which would design and produce the new Fuggler toys. That same year, Fugglers were officially back to being released in the UK, France, New Zealand, Australia, Canada, and Spain. This was understandable for a new licensee of a franchise to test the waters of an industry it had disappeared from for a couple years, and the familiar birthplace of Fugglers seemed like a good place to start. However, many Fuggler fans, especially in the United States, expressed disappointment in Fugglers not having been brought back to their countries. Some fans may have even traveled to other countries just to obtain the new Addo Play Fugglers, and I may have been one of them. Anyways, luckily, the Fuggler relaunch had gone well, so the dolls from Fuggler's first brand collaboration would make it to Walmarts across the United States by the end of 2023, and the newest line of Fuggler dolls would follow soon after in 2021. We'll get back to the brand collab soon, but it turns out Addo Play's time with Fugglers was limited. By May of 2024, the licensing rights had changed owners once more, and New Zealand-owned global toy company Zuru became the new manufacturer of Fuggler toys. Now, speaking of collabs, Fuggler is no stranger to unofficial, fan-made, or celebrity collabs, one of their earliest being while still only owned by Spin Master, with Post Malone. This Post Malone Fuggler would actually later be teased as an official product along with other Fugglers based off celebrities. However, I'd like to mention the official collaborations with other brands that Fuggler has had so far. Since being acquired by Libertas Brands, Fugglers had their first ever brand collaboration with Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and went on to release collaborations with SpongeBob, DC, Gremlins, Lord of the Rings, Jaws, and Care Bears, and potentially more on the way. There are mixed reactions to the Fuggler collaborations that have been released so far. Some of the character Fugglerizations seem random or poorly executed, while others fit the Fuggler aesthetic way better. Either way, the response has been mostly positive, and many are eagerly reviving their old Fuggler interests, while others are discovering Fugglers for the first time. As of writing this, Spin Master still owns the Fuggler trademark, but the brand is managed by global rights owner Libertas Brands, and licensing rights owner Zuru is still manufacturing the Fugglers. Throughout 2025, Fugglers have reached stores in 30 more countries, and over 150 new Fuggler dolls have been released, including various new doll lines, shapes, and sizes, such as the Tiny Baby Fugs and the Jumbo Big Fugs. Some new non-doll Fuggler toys are being sold as well, such as blind box figures, which is a bit ironic considering their part in Fuggler's initial downfall, but they seem to be performing much better considering the current blind box craze. There's even an official Fuggler app called Fug Club, where collectors can track what Fugglers they own and collect and trade digital Fuggler items. However, it seems their main focus right now is the dolls, which seems like a wise decision. As for Louise, she no longer sells Fugglers, but enjoys watching how the Fuggler brand has grown without her, although she humbly denies her part in their current success. However, Louise still has other creations for sale, some of which are created with leftover Fuggler materials. Fuggler fans are speculating on what new Fuggler-inspired products, doll designs, and collabs await us in 2026. Either way, it seems that like many of us, the Fugglers have struggled to find their place in the world during the past few years. But for now, they seem to be thriving and entering the mainstream once again. Thank you very much for watching this far. Up until now, I've tried not to stray from the truth and facts of the Fugglers past and present, but this is the part where I share a bit of my personal connection to these little freaks. I personally remember the Fugglers from their original Spin Master days, mostly spotting them at Target as a toy I always wanted but never got. Their appearance was probably not something my parents wanted in their house, which is fair. As an emo teen, their odd and creepy designs appealed to me, and I felt charmed, intrigued, and a little bit seen. I didn't keep up with Fuggler news, but eventually I did notice that I hadn't seen one in stores for a couple years, and assumed they had been discontinued. Until I was on a trip in Europe around April 2023, and I saw an entire wall of brand new Fugglers in a toy store. I was ecstatic, and I bought my first Fuggler on the spot, the red sketchy squirrel. During the next year, I would travel back to that store in Europe to buy more Fugglers, including this gray annoyed alien, brown annoyed alien, multicolored Grin Grin, and yellow Grin Grin. Baby Fugs finally arrived in my local Target in 2025, and I got gray Sasquatch, multicolor Rabid Rabbit, and orange Rico. But I still ended up getting some more Fugglers internationally, like teal Gaptooth Magoo and teal Greedy Grinner. These two are actually classified as blue on the Fuggler website, but they are very obviously teal to me. That's my collection for now. I have seen some other Fuggler dolls in stores where I live, but very rarely, even though they've been back in my country for 2 years now. I am generally a big fan of things that are kind of ugly and creepy, but also kind of cute, such as trolls and Fugglers and Labubu's. But Fugglers especially are very special to me. Something about their squinty or button eyes, their gummy but toothy smiles, their fun colors and shapes, and their mischievous but lovable nature. They're just so crafty and fun, and as a little freak myself, very relatable. But despite the slightly more polished and brand-friendly look that the Fugglers have taken over the years, my favorite will always be the first Fugglers, created out of nothing but happenstance, amusement, and an uncontrollable desire to make something weird and unique. If you liked this video, watch it again and take a shot every time I say the word Fuggler, and you probably won't like the video anymore by the end. If you didn't like this video, I don't care. Goodbye!